Hi, my name's Scott Cripps and I'm a sales engineer here at Barracuda MSP. And today I just wanted to show you how we run one of our email threat scans and also how to digest one of the reports it might give you. So first off, for new MSPs, you will have to go to scan.barracudanetworks.com in order to run one. For current MSPs, you can click the Sentinel button from within the Cloud Control portal to single sign on, or browse, as I said, to the URL scan.barracudanetworks.com. So at the top right, there'll be 3 dots and an option to scan an Office 365 account inside. It will give you a drop-down menu here. Now, this drop-down menu is pulled from our MSP portal where you manage your customers and licenses already. So as long as the customer exists in the MSP portal, you'll be able to run a threat scan and it will appear here in the drop-down. And just to quickly recap, that's this portal here, guys, as you can see. So you choose a customer from the list, click the Connect to 365 button. It would take you to Office 365 where you just need to sign in with any admin account for that customer's tenant. After which it will redirect back to the scan portal and it will then just display a quick message confirming that we are now scanning that environment and understanding normal suspicious behavior, phishing emails, impersonation attempts, and will then display it in a view just like this when that scan has then finished. So hopefully quite straightforward to actually run the scan. Now, if we just have a look at the first bit we'll see on that. So what fraudulent emails has the system found within that customer's environment? And just to quickly clarify, these are tangible emails currently sat in your customers' mailboxes that their current email security system has allowed that Sentinel, the AI system behind the threat scan utility, would ultimately block if it was in place. So just proving the sort of value that the product will add to that customer. So yeah, if we just take a quick example. So yeah, this is a good one. You can just see here that this is 2 internal users within the business emailing each other, or supposedly it is. To quickly clarify, the internal domain here is sukasa.onmicrosoft.com. And as you can see, one of our users is actually emailing from a completely different domain. So if we were to have a look at this from a standard spam filter or email security gateways perspective, there is no hyperlink in the body of the email that we could dynamically investigate. There is no attachment we can chuck through our ATP systems. And even though the person is sort of impersonated Ite from a display name perspective, they've actually sent the email from their own domain, which means any SPF, DKIM, and DMARC checks will likely pass. So to confirm, an email security system might struggle to find something wrong with this, but the AI system in Sentinel that we've used here in the threat scan can understand that Ite is a user in the system. And if that is the case, why is he emailing from this domain here? We've never seen him do that before, already suspicious behavior. And Sentinel in the threat scan has something called natural language processing. So that means in every language in the world, it's able to understand what's actually being asked within the email itself. So the fact this email is making a weird request and it's coming from an email address that we've never seen Ite use before, those are the reasons that the Sentinel and the threat scan system would sort of quarantine that or not like it. So it's a kind of context-aware approach to analyzing this emails, and we're understanding who the person says they are and then looking at the information that we found from it, rather than looking for simply anomalies and technicalities like an email security gateway might do. So again, just have a look through the sorts of attacks you found here at the top with your customer, understand if there are some very obvious ones in there, and again, to clarify, these are all sat within the user's mailboxes. It will then also highlight domains at risk. So what it means by that is these domains, or 3 out of these 4 domains actually, do not have a DMARC record in place. So just to quickly confirm, DMARC is a sender authentication technology. It works in tandem with SPF and DKIM, which I'm sure is more sort of common. In short, DMARC gives you, the domain owner, full visibility of any impersonation attempt by any system anywhere in the world. It could be their main Exchange server, it could be their web server, it could then also show you random people in other countries that are trying to impersonate that customer's domain. So you'd have visibility of all those systems. You could work through an alignment process to align them with SPF, DKIM, and ultimately DMARC. And then you actually have the option to enforce what happens with DMARC. So telling the world, if DMARC fails, I want you to block this email or to quarantine. So again, this system is just going to highlight which domains are currently at risk because they do not have a DMARC record in place. Employee risk, so confirming which employees we think are at a high risk and which employees we think are at a low risk. And to confirm how we're working that out, obviously that initial scan is looking through customers' historic emails, and when it can understand that they've sent emails with invoice details and financial information, we might highlight them as someone at risk because they deal with that sort of topic. Or, as you can see here on the right, they might actually be an executive in the system, so a director or someone that we can identify as more senior within the system based on the sort of sync process we've run with Office 365. And it might be worth thinking about running our sort of managed phishing simulation and cybersecurity awareness training for some of those users, because we run it as a managed service. So you choose a handful of users you want us to run the campaign for, simulate and educate. And as I said, it doesn't have to be every user in the company. You could selectively choose the people it's highlighted here rather than everyone. Then it's confirming who in the system has received the most fraudulent emails, who's actually been impersonated within the system. So it might be interesting to see sort of what users are there. Services impersonated. So in our demo environment here, you can see Microsoft is a good 50% of that, but useful to see sort of for a particular customer what vendor impersonation is being targeted against them. Which domains have sent the most fraudulent emails, and most of the time you'll probably find your internal domain is here at the top because attackers spoof it, trying to impersonate it, and it's then highlighted as one of the most frequently used fraudulent domains. And lastly, down here, my personal favorite is the popular subject used in fraud. So basically highlighting which subjects we've seen the most that the Sentinel AI system or threat scan utility did not like. And just to have a look at one of these, so account blocked here. Let's have a look at an example. So this one's pretending to be Microsoft Outlook. And as you can see, the from address is not something Outlook or Microsoft would typically use. It knows that this is pretending to come from a popular web service, and the URL contained in the email is a suspicious phishing URL. And to confirm, guys, that's not suspicious because there's malicious code on the other side of it. It's malicious because it's taking you somewhere that is nothing to do with that vendor or Microsoft, and they would never do that. And unfortunately, that's becoming more and more common in these sorts of scenarios because attackers want it to get through the email security systems. So the link they're sending on their email might not have anything dynamic on the other side of it. It might be a web form. Fill in your information here, extend your 365 mailbox quota, username, password, mother's maiden name, and your favorite dog. And all it's doing is harvesting the information and actually penetrating into the system. So again, highlighting why something like Sentinel's AI and the threat scan utility is needed to sort of spot those sorts of emails. And I just wanted to highlight one particular example I found with another MSP once that was quite alarming, and it was this. So this was the top subject we found in a threat scan, and there were 400 versions of this email. So we investigated it and we found sort of patient 0 was a DocuSign phishing email that went into a user called Eve. Eve unfortunately clicked on it, which then sent the very same email from her address to 400 people within the business. Now, the most concerning thing about that was this. The second most popular subject in the system was RE. Eve sent you a document, and we had about half the business replying to her saying, I've tried to click on the email you've sent, it's not working. Why would you send something that doesn't download? And thank God that every user had antivirus, as it's the only thing that stopped it from going from their own addresses to other people as well. So again, it just highlighted some negligence and some issues that the business owner or IT manager wasn't aware of. And yeah, we got that customer to sign the sort of very same day. So just another useful widget to highlight some negligence or some interesting emails within the system. So yeah, that is pretty much it from the threat scan utility, guys. So hopefully quite straightforward to run, not too intrusive, and it will just highlight areas of weakness within your customers' mailboxes that our Sentinel AI and threat scan utility can protect going forward. And we can also clean up as well. If the customer was to choose Sentinel, we can basically click a button and remediate everything found here on this threat scan. Please get in touch with myself, scripts@barracuda.com if you've got any questions, or feel free to reach out to your sales representative. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.